You think Christmas dinner in the 60s and 70s was all about turkey and ham. Think again. These mid-century holiday parties served up some of the most elegant, bizarre, and surprisingly sophisticated finger foods in American entertaining history. Let's dig into 25 Christmas sandwiches that defined an entire generation's holiday celebrations. 1. Pimento cheese finger sandwiches. Pimento cheese finger sandwiches, lovingly known as the South's caviar, became a nationwide holiday hit in the 1960s. Originally a humble Southern lunch staple, pimento cheese evolved into a glamorous party food during America's cocktail craze. In homes filled with chrome and formica, this spread found its Christmas moment. Hosts would painstakingly hand-shred sharp cheddar before the convenience of pre-shredded bags, then mix in jarred pimentos, mayonnaise, and a kick of cayenne. They de-spread the mix on white bread trimmed of crusts, cut into perfect geometric shapes, and artfully arrange them on elegant silver trays. The bright orange red flecks against white bread looked cheerfully festive. These sandwiches united neighbors and social classes. They were proudly served at both refined luncheons and church potlucks. Today's gourmet versions owe everything to these early renditions, born from perseverance and elevated by style. 2. Cucumber tea sandwiches. Cucumber tea sandwiches may have British roots, but by the 1960s, they had found an American home on Christmas party tables everywhere. Inspired by First Lady Jackie Kennedy's polished charm, these crisp little bites became a must at refined holiday events. Making them bordered on ritual, English cucumbers were peeled, mandolin-sliced paper thin, and gently blotted dry under towels for precisely 30 minutes. Butter, real and rich, not margarine, was spread edge to edge on soft white bread. Dill and lemon brought freshness to the layers. The cucumbers were arranged with quiet perfection, crusts trimmed with care, and every sandwich cut into neat, tiny parcels. Their appeal wasn't just taste. They were texture artistry, combining cool crunch with smooth bread. At afternoon teas and bridge parties, eating one with your pinky raised felt like breathing in British elegance, while standing under hand-me-down tinsel and sipping eggnog from a punch bowl. 3. Chicken salad mini sandwiches. In every church basement during Christmas, there was one constant: multiple versions of chicken salad sandwiches, and heated debate about which one reigned supreme. These weren't just sandwiches. They were personal statements, symbols of taste and tradition. The process demanded care, using still warm hand-shredded chicken, whether leftover roast or poached fresh. From there, the recipe choices got serious. Grapes and pecans for a fancier flair, or celery and eggs for a time-honored take. Regional mayonnaise allegiances ran deep: Hellmann's, Best Foods, or Duke's, all claiming the crown. Seasonings were simple, but controversy brewed over sweet relish. The salad was chilled overnight, flavors marrying like family at holiday dinners. On Christmas morning, it was generously spread on white bread, with a lettuce leaf added for a hint of color, then cut into perfect quarters. Soft, creamy, crunchy. These sandwiches transformed leftovers into something worthy of a party. Proving resourcefulness was the secret ingredient to elegance. 4. Frosted ribbon sandwich loaf. This was not just lunch, it was an edible showpiece. The frosted ribbon sandwich loaf emerged as a mid-century marvel that combined patience, precision, and party drama. Popularized by Christmas 1965, it was meticulously layered using an unsliced Pullman loaf cut horizontally into 4 sandwich-thin slabs. Each layer featured a different filling: chicken salad, ham spread, olive cream cheese, stacked like edible artistry. Then came the piece de resistance: frosting, the whole loaf with fluffy cream cheese blended with milk until smooth. Some added food coloring to the creamy spread, soft green or pink for extra flair. Garnishes included chopped parsley, paprika, or nuts, and decorations of olive slices and pimento strips arranged like edible holly. After hours of chilling, it was sliced vertically at the table, revealing its festive stripes. Weighing in around 5 pounds, it was a culinary flex. Today's dainty sandwich cakes can't hold a cucumber slice to the grandeur of these dramatic mid-century feats. 5. Ham salad sandwiches. Once a relic of Depression-era thrift, ham salad got dressed up for holiday parties in the 1960s and turned into a Christmas sandwich classic. Leftover spiral ham became kitchen gold, ground finely using a hand-cranked meat grinder clamped firmly to the counter. The resulting texture was almost spreadable, like a savory confetti paste. Binding agents included sweet pickle relish, mayo, and a touch of mustard, sometimes even brown sugar for sweet savory magic. This pink-hued spread was buttery and tangy, especially when laid thick on rye or white bread, brightened with a crisp lettuce leaf. It straddled the line between elegance and economy, a dish born from nothing going to waste. Working-class families served full sandwiches. Middle-class hosts trimmed the crusts and plated them with flair. Nobody bought ham just to make ham salad. That would go against its very ethos. It wasn't just delicious, it was history on bread. 6. Egg salad sandwiches. Egg salad may seem humble, but by the 1970s it was a staple of Christmas brunches across America, and every family had their own fiercely defended variation. Preparation began the night before. 24 eggs boiled, cooled, and peeled as Bing Crosby crooned from the TV. Chopped by hand with a pastry blender for that ideal chunky texture. They were then seasoned with mayo, mustard, salt, and pepper. Some purists added only paprika. Others included celery or onions for crunch. And then there was the sweet pickle relish debate. Homes divided over its inclusion. Spread generously on white bread, trimmed and segmented just right, these triangle sandwiches may not have turned heads like ribbon loaves, but they filled stomachs and hearts. Perfect for feeding unexpected guests or hungry family fresh from church, the eggs blended nostalgia and nourishment. No pretense, just comfort. This sandwich didn't shout, it quietly said, "You're home." 7. Turkey and cranberry mini sandwiches. What once began as a post-Thanksgiving afterthought evolved into a Christmas party favorite by the late 1960s, when smart hosts realized you didn't need to wait for leftovers. Turkey and cranberry mini sandwiches were intentional showstoppers, crafted with care. You'd roast a turkey breast specifically for these, slice it warm and thin, and sandwich it between soft roll halves or crustless bread. Underneath, a layer of cranberry sauce, either lovingly homemade or unapologetically canned. A swipe of butter came first to protect the bread from sogginess. Some hosts went a step further, adding cream cheese for richness or a single lettuce leaf for visual contrast. Sweet meets savory in bite-sized harmony. These little sandwiches became staples at December office parties and cookie swaps, evoking Thanksgiving memories through a Christmas lens. They were two holidays folded into one elegant bite. 8. Pinwheel sandwiches. Don't be fooled by their swirls. Pinwheel sandwiches were less about flair and more about finesse. 9. Rising from the pages of 1950s women's magazines, they spun into peak Christmas popularity by 1968. The secret wasn't in the filling, but the bread. Soft, fresh white bread that could be flattened with a rolling pin without cracking. Anything older than a day was a disaster waiting to happen. Classic fillings like pimento cheese, deviled ham, or olive cream cheese were spread edge to edge. From here, the magic began. Each slice was rolled into a tight spiral, wrapped in wax paper and left to chill, allowing everything to set firm. When sliced, each round revealed mesmerizing spirals like edible ornaments. Plated with care next to cheese balls and meatballs, they dazzled guests who marveled at their intricate simplicity. These spirals weren't just sandwiches. They were proof you mastered the art of making simple things look like a celebration. 9. Olive and cream cheese tea sandwiches. At first glance, they might have seemed like an odd couple, but together, green olives and cream cheese created a Christmas sandwich destined for afternoon teas and bridge club chatter. By the 1960s, these little bites had secured their reputation as markers of grown-up taste. Spanish green olives with pimentos were chopped fine after being drained religiously. The cream cheese was beaten until fluffy, sometimes enhanced with a dash of olive brine, a bit of onion, or even a splash of Worcestershire. The mixture turned pale and festive with its red and green flecks and spread smoothly across delicate white bread. Crusts were trimmed, corners cut sharply, and every sandwich plated like china-worthy treasures. The salty kick of the olives cut through the richness of the cheese, resulting in bold, bite-sized sophistication. Kids turned their noses up. Adults fell in love. Serving these meant you degraduated to the adult table of taste. 10. Pastrami on rye sandwiches. Pastrami on rye elbowed its way into Christmas parties with the swagger of Manhattan deli culture and the charm of bold flavors. By the 1970s, as ethnic cuisine moved from niche to necessary, this sandwich offered cosmopolitan flair to otherwise traditional spreads. Thick slices of deli pastrami, never store-bought junk, were layered on dark rye speckled with caraway seeds. Deli mustard, the coarse, brown kind with bite, was a must. Maybe a slice of Swiss cheese if hosts felt fancy. No lettuce, no mayo, just lean, spiced meat, bold bread, and sharp mustard playing off each other perfectly. Diagonally sliced for flair but still hearty, these sandwiches were for guests craving something intense amidst a sea of gentle tea sandwiches. Seen often during guy-centric Christmas parties or Super Bowl gatherings bleeding into the holiday season, pastrami on rye signaled worldliness. It didn't whisper holiday cheer. It smacked flavor straight to the palate. 11. Smoked salmon on rye. Smoked salmon on rye was Christmas brunch's idea of luxury, with just enough pretension to make it sparkle. In the 1970s, when lox became a household term beyond New York bagel shops, the transformation began. Hosts sought to impress, buying ultra-thin slices of high-end smoked salmon from the deli counter, delicate and translucent. The foundation was dark rye bread spread with lemony cream cheese whipped till silky, often speckled with dill. Then came the carefully draped smoked salmon, followed by slivers of red onion and a sprinkling of capers for bite. These sandwiches demanded steady hands and zero hesitation. Every slice had to be pristine. The flavor was sophisticated, smoky, tangy, velvety, new money elegant. Kids hated it, of course, but that only made adults love it more. In landlocked towns, smoked salmon sandwiches symbolized upward mobility, the belief that with the right appetizer, you could summon the Hamptons straight to your mahogany sideboard. 12. Deviled egg salad sandwiches. What happens when you cross a classic deviled egg with egg salad? Deviled egg salad sandwiches, the bold, tangy hybrid born for adventurous mid-century kitchens. Emerging in the late 1960s as recipe experimentation hit full stride, this sandwich combined the best of both worlds. Boiled eggs were chopped like for traditional egg salad, but the mix got a devilish twist. More mustard, a splash of vinegar, sweet relish, and a generous forkful of paprika stirred right in. Some daring cooks even tossed in bits of crispy bacon. The result? A coral-colored spread with punch and personality. Slathered onto white or wheat bread, no crusts in sight, every sandwich packed the kick of a deviled egg with the convenience of something you could munch while standing by the punch bowl. Not quite ordinary, not too unfamiliar. These sandwiches scratched the itch for something new without forgetting where they came from. They were nostalgic with an edge. 13. Tuna salad sandwiches. Tuna salad wasn't born to be fancy, but somehow, in the hands of a dedicated holiday hostess, it put on its party clothes and made the Christmas cut. Cans of chunk white tuna, chicken of the sea or star-kissed, were opened and drained until not a drop remained. The tuna was flaked with care, ensuring no lumps. Bound with mayo, brightened with lemon juice, and studded with finely chopped celery, the essential crunch came in every bite. Simple seasoning, just salt and pepper. Then came the big questions, to relish or not to relish. Hard-boiled eggs mixed in or left out. And a dash of dill, maybe. Whatever the combination, the final product had to be creamy, never gloopy. Spread over white bread with a leaf of crisp lettuce and cut into clean shapes, tuna salad sandwiches graced tables at church potlucks and children's parties alike. This was Christmas for the people, budget-friendly, lovingly made, and always welcome. 14. Shrimp salad sandwiches. If your buffet table in the Midwest during Christmas featured shrimp salad sandwiches, it meant one thing: you were going all out. In an era when frozen shrimp became widely accessible, the taste of seaside escape made it to snowy suburbs. You'd thaw petite salad shrimp overnight, Chop them just rough enough, and fold them into mayonnaise brightened with lemon juice and finely minced celery. Fancy cooks added cocktail sauce or a dash of Old Bay once that secret orbit reached inland kitchens. Time was crucial here. The shrimp salad had to be cold, fresh, and devoured quickly. Hosts often opted for mini croissants or crustless bread to cradle the briny blend, styling each with a single leaf of Bibb lettuce. These were more than sandwiches, they were Christmas proof of arrival. Guests bit in and tasted aspiration. They didn't shout luxury, they whispered it in buttery crescendos, one shrimp at a time. 15. Pimento cheese and olive bites. Take a Southern comfort classic and give it a Mediterranean twist, and you'll land on pimento cheese and olive bites, a retro revelation with flair. When green olives became party royalty in the late 60s, creative home cooks wasted no time folding them into the familiar world of pimento cheese. Sharp cheddar, mayo, jarred pimentos, and a touch of cayenne made up the base, but the chopped green olives brought it unexpected complexity. Tangy, briny pops in creamy richness. Unlike their sandwich-bound cousins, these spreads were served on cocktail rye rounds or hearty wheat crackers, sturdy enough to stand up at a boozy Christmas mixer. Hosts got fancy, cutting rounds with biscuit cutters and stacking them like edible jewels. They were bold, salty, almost too much, exactly the vibe at grown-up cocktail parties where martinis clinked and conversation buzzed. Kids stepped away puzzled. Adults, they kept coming back. These were Southern tradition reborn through a cosmopolitan lens. 16. Cheese and pineapple sandwich bites. Cheese and pineapple on a sandwich. Delicious or deranged? In the 1960s, it was both, and that's why it worked. Embracing the era's obsession with Polynesian flair and novelty flavors, this combination became a Christmas curiosity worth serving. Crushed canned pineapple, squeezed dry within an inch of its life, met finely shredded cheddar in a blend brought together with just enough mayo to bind, not drown. Want to go fully festive? Some added chopped maraschino cherries or chopped pecans, making it taste like a tropical fruit salad in sandwich form. The mixture got dolloped on graham crackers or bread rounds, then cut into circles or quirky diamonds and stacked on tiered platters. The taste, a confusing yet memorable blend of sweet and sharp. Grandparents blinked, kids cheered, guests asked, "What is this?" That was precisely the point. These bites weren't made to blend in. They started conversations and brought tiki party vibes to snowy suburbs. 17. Open-faced roast beef with horseradish. A sandwich that made no apologies, open-faced roast beef with horseradish was built for the guests who scoffed at dainty bites and wanted a meal on a plate. By 1972, these hearty stackers were showing up at Christmas gatherings where man food ruled. The process began with a proper roast, ribeye or sirloin, slow-cooked on Christmas Eve and sliced cool the next day. Thick-cut heavy rye or toasted wheat served as the stage. On top, horseradish mixed with sour cream, fierce and creamy at once. Layers of rare roast beef piled high, then maybe cheese melted briefly under a broiler for flair. The whole meal demanded a knife and fork and gave permission to ditch napkin-sized portions in favor of meat, heat, and bite. This was Christmas without frills, just bold flavor and practical satisfaction. The sandwich stood as a counterpunch to frilly finger foods, direct, delicious, and served with confidence. 18. Green olive and pimento sandwich. This wasn't the tea party version of olive sandwiches. It was the weeknight, winter shift, working-class classic wrapped in a bow of nostalgia. Made with affordable ingredients and sincere effort, the green olive and pimento sandwich popped up at every church basement or office party where frills weren't the point but celebration still mattered. You took a giant jar of sliced green olives stuffed with red pimentos, chopped them fine until they turned into a spreadable confetti, and folded them into cream cheese or mayo. Some purists used both. A spoonful of olive juice gave it extra punch and festive spreadability. The result was this pale green and red speckled mixture that looked merry by accident. It got slathered, yes, slathered, on plain white bread and cut into triangles, or left whole when nobody was judging. No lettuce needed. The flavor was sharp, intense, unforgettable. Kids avoided it like homework. Adults, they knew exactly what they were biting into: home, thrift, and love on a budget. 19. Kentucky Hot Brown. There's a reason Kentuckians say Christmas isn't Christmas without a hot brown, and once you taste one, you understand. This open-faced sandwich was a towering tribute to Southern flair, born in 1926 but stealing center stage by the 1970s. It started with a thick slice of toasted white bread. Then came thick-cut turkey breast, warm and juicy. But what transformed this into edible luxury was the Mornay sauce, a creamy, Parmesan-enriched bechamel poured generously over the top like wrapping a present. Add a couple crisscrossed bacon strips, tomato slices for brightness, and broil it all until bubbly and golden. Cutting into it released an oozy, savory waterfall that soaked every piece of toast in cheesy warmth. This wasn't a nibble. It was a full dish disguised as an open sandwich. Best served at brunches, party buffets, and anywhere one-upmanship and hospitality applied. The Kentucky Hot Brown didn't just impress, it conquered. With cheese. 20. Deviled ham sandwiches. Deviled ham sandwiches were the throwback treat you didn't brag about eating, but couldn't resist. All it took was a can of Underwood deviled ham, a butter knife, and suddenly childhood memories came rushing back. Pale pink, slightly shiny and suspicious-looking to some, this processed spread was either beloved or benignly weird. For the home chef wanting to elevate it just enough, cream cheese or mayonnaise made it creamier and tamed the salt. Piled onto white sandwich bread with or without a slice of American cheese and often cut diagonally, it hit all the notes of nostalgia. The flavor was spicy, a little smoky, and unmistakably from your grandma's fridge. These popped up at kids' parties, family dinners, or late-night snack tables, no one fully admitted stocking. They carried the flag of convenience food with pride. Processed, absolutely. Loved, secretly and deeply. 21. Lobster thermidor. Lobster thermidor wasn't just food. It was theater on a plate. Imported from 19th century French kitchens but reimagined in American homes during the glitzy 1960s and early 70s, it became the crown jewel of Christmas appetizers. Timeless and extravagant, it combined succulent lobster meat with a creamy bechamel infused with white wine and cognac, then finished with a golden, bubbling cheese crust. Whether served in petite ramekins or artfully nestled back in the lobster shell, it radiated holiday luxury. This was the sort of dish you made only when the boss came to dinner, or when you wanted your guests to gasp before the first bite. Baby boomers saw it as the height of class, sophisticated, European, aspirational. Paired with vintage wine and a Sinatra record, it set the mood for a party laced with old Hollywood influence. Though the 1980s would usher in simpler tastes, lobster thermidor lingered in memory as the edible version of high glamour. 22. Bacon-wrapped Smokies. Bacon-wrapped Smokies. The name alone sparks joy. These bite-sized flavor bombs dominated 1970s Christmas spreads, combining smoky sausage heat with sweet caramelized bacon in an irresistible package. Made from cocktail sausages, lovingly known as Little Smokies, each was lovingly hugged by a patch of bacon, secured with a toothpick, and glazed with brown sugar for that signature crispy sweet finish. They baked until bubbling, sticky, and gold. Hosts loved how easy they were to prep. Guests adored them because they vanished in minutes, and kids considered them party gold. They sat proudly beside cheese balls, rumaki, and bright red punch, becoming essential in the era's cocktail party circuit. You knew the party was really starting when a tray of Smokies hit the table. Warm, chewy, and slightly outrageous, they brought with them not just flavor but holiday cheer. Giddy, loud, 70s-style cheer. 23. Aspic mold. Aspic molds walked the line between edible centerpiece and gelatinous dare. These brightly colored creations were a pinnacle of Christmas refinement in the 1970s, even if future generations would squint at their existence. Made from unflavored gelatin and filled with carefully placed vegetables, meats, or seafood, aspics took their design inspiration more from architecture than cuisine. Tomato-based versions became especially popular at holiday tables thanks to their festive red hue and jiggly charm. What they lacked in flavor appeal, they made up for in visual drama. Drawing influence from magazine spreads and vintage cookbooks, baby boomers loved their molded symmetry and celebration of order and elegance. But as the culinary tides turned toward natural, rustic, and hearty, aspics became the forgotten cousin, strangely admired from afar, but rarely invited back. Still, one glimpse of a crystallized red dome full of floaty vegetables instantly transports you to a Christmas table with shag carpet underfoot. 24. Cocktail meatballs. Few appetizers united a crowd quite like cocktail meatballs, especially when bathed in a sauce made from grape jelly or cranberry juice. Yes, really. These mouth-watering marvels reached their peak in the 70s, and clearly America approved. Made from ground beef or a mix of meats, each ball was baked or seared, then simmered in a sauce equal parts sweet and tangy, often backed by chili sauce, Worcestershire, or mustard. Slow cookers and chafing dishes kept them warm all night long, sending mouth-watering aromas wafting through tinsel-filled homes. They sat proudly on every buffet table, never the centerpiece, but always the first to disappear. Pair them with vinyl crackling under Christmas classics, and you had a party. With just a toothpick and a throwback drink in hand, guests made memories one bite at a time. Every retro gathering had them, and every generation after wistfully stole one too many from the tray. 25. Tomato aspic. Tomato aspic, yes, another jiggly dish, looked jolly and wildly out of place, which was part of its oddly iconic charm. Originally gaining traction in the 1940s, it made a serious push during 1970s Christmas parties thanks to its bright red hue and dramatic molded shapes. Made from spiced tomato juice and gelatin, it was poured into festive shapes, fluted rings, sculpted domes, and loaded with garnishes like olives, celery, or shrimp. A cold, savory jelly on a buffet full of warm casseroles may sound strange, but to thousands of hosts, it symbolized sophistication, creativity, and a visual wow factor. Jell-O's rise amplified its stardom as home cooks raced to explore gelatin's versatility. As palates evolved, tomato aspic became a culinary relic, but to those who knew it, it wasn't weird, it was tradition. A bite of it is pure edible time travel, retro, wobbly, and charmingly odd. 26. Salmon mousse. Salmon mousse was where seafood got fancy, but make it smooth. A darling of 1970s holiday hosting, it mixed canned or smoked salmon with whipped cream cheese, lemon juice, and a hint of mayo until silky and decadent. Served chilled, this pastel pink mousse played nice with crackers, toast rounds, or anything firm enough to scoop up its richness. Garnishes like dill and capers added flair, and if a home had a fish-shaped mold, you bet it made an appearance. This wasn't loud or showy. It was polished sophistication done on a modest budget. As more Americans leaned toward health-conscious and seafood-based dishes post-war, salmon mousse served up both taste and trend. Hosts adored its elegance and ease. Guests loved its refinement. Served between shrimp cocktails and crab-stuffed mushrooms, it was part of a growing love affair with upscale bites that didn't break the bank. One bite, and the room felt instantly more grown-up. 27. Spicy party nuts. Long before food came with labels like artisanal, there were spicy party nuts, home-roasted, hand-tossed, and special occasion-worthy. A go-to appetizer of the 1970s, these nuts, usually pecans, almonds, or walnuts, were dressed in spiced sugar or bold seasonings, often kissed with cayenne for warm heat. Baked until toasty and fragrant, they hit that addictive line between savory, sweet, and just a touch of spice. Served in glass bowls or lovingly packed into homemade gift jars wrapped in ribbon, they checked every holiday box: festive, homemade, easy to share. Hosts loved them because they could be made days ahead. Guests loved them because the crunch was downright addictive. And when paired with cocktails, they disappeared faster than you could say, "Merry Christmas." Today, the smell alone takes boomers right back to wood-paneled living rooms and the soft hiss of old holiday records in the background. 28. Eggnog dip. Eggnog dip took the beloved holiday drink and made it spoonable, and somehow, it totally worked. Inventive and a little whimsical, this 1970s dessert dip combined the spiced, creamy notes of eggnog with fluffy cream cheese for a treat that felt both familiar and fun. Fruit slices, cookies, or gingerbread men all found their way into this sweet delight, making it a welcome breakout star on dessert tables crowded with pies and pudding. It reflected the decade's spirit of experimentation and festive play, less traditional, more creative. At kids' parties or family gatherings, eggnog dip brought smiles, sugar highs, and second dips. For boomers and early Gen Xers, it tasted like school break, cousins everywhere, and endless December nights. Today, it may have slipped off holiday menus, but for anyone who ever scooped it with a sugar cookie while sitting cross-legged by the tree, it lives rent-free in their Christmas memories. 29. Olive Puffs. Salty, flaky, and stylish, olive puffs wrapped the boldness of olives in buttery goodness and became a holiday staple in chic 1970s kitchens. Made by pressing green or black olives into small rounds of cheddar-flecked dough, these puffs emerged from the oven golden and irresistible. The first bite, crispy exterior gives way to the savory center, with the olive's bold punch cutting straight through. Their miniature size made them perfect for mingling mouths at grown-up cocktail parties. No forks. No crumbs, just snackable sophistication. With more people entertaining at home, hosts leaned on these for flair without fuss. Even better, they often made batches ahead and froze them, ready to bake upon a moment's notice. They even graced holiday spreads in glossy magazine ads with captions promising elegance in every bite. Though they faded from view in later decades, one whiff of baked cheese dough still transports many straight back to red velvet tablecloths and discolate kitchens. 30. Grandma's stuffed celery. Simple, crunchy, unapologetically old school. Stuffed celery reigned as a starter long before charcuterie boards and Instagram-worthy apps. Known fondly as Grandma's Christmas appetizer, it included celery sticks filled with anything from cream cheese to peanut butter or the ever-festive pimento cheese. Dust one with paprika, top another with crushed walnuts. Every version had its loyal fan base. What made them so unforgettable wasn't complexity, but comfort. They were snackable, affordable, and always made with a touch of family love. Passed down through handwritten recipe cards, these nibbles define what it meant to contribute to the table, especially for kids learning to help in the kitchen. And during Christmas, they brought balance to sweets and casseroles, a salty, cool crunch between sugar plums and stuffing. Even today, among artisan cheeses and gourmet bites, a well-placed stuffed celery stalk brings smiles only childhood favorites can evoke. 31. Crudité platters. Before they were called grazing boards, they were simply crudité platters, a rainbow of veggies spread across silver trays, timeless and triumphant. In 1970s Christmas parties, they offered fresh crunch amidst heavy casseroles and creamy dips. Carrots, celery, radishes, cherry tomatoes, and bell peppers, all sliced with precision and arranged like edible mosaics. The accompanying dips were just as iconic. Onion dip with that sharp twang, homemade ranch, even chilled spinach in a hollowed-out bread bowl. These platters symbolized hospitality and health, a nod to balance in a sea of indulgence. Kids often hovered near them, nibbling on carrot sticks between sugar cookie binges. For hosts, they were a blank canvas to get creative without cooking. For guests, they provided a refreshing bite between bacon-wrapped chaos and shrimp molds. Crudité platters didn't steal the show, but they balanced the stage. And for every Gen X kid who grabbed a radish before anyone noticed, they still feel like home. So which of these vintage Christmas bites stirred old memories, or maybe sparked some new curiosity? Whether you're remembering your grandma's deviled ham sandwiches or now plotting a retro platter of pinwheel wonders, one thing's clear. Mid-century holiday food was bold, creative, and unforgettable.